Hello everyone, my name is Lawrence Kanyan and you're watching Planet Geology. So in this video, we will be solving the aptitude questions from the math part which appeared in GATE 2021 exam. Now in total, you get 10 questions from the aptitude section which are usually divided into math, logical reasoning and verbal or English part. Okay, so you got 4 from the math part, 3 from logical reasoning and 3 from English in 2021 GATE exam, and that is usually the breakup that you'll see between these in a GATE exam. Now before we go into solving these questions, I would request you to please like this video and hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you have not already done so. So the first question that we have with us on our screen is this one: which of the following is exactly divisible by this number? So you've given options and you have to find out which of the following is actually divisible by 11 to the power 13 by 1. So in these numbers, so these are your options, 4 options. So in these 4 options, if you can find any option in which you have this factor, it will be divisible by this number. Okay, and even without like going through all these, okay, you can sort of like see that you know that x square minus 1 square equals to x plus 1 and x minus 1. Okay, so I'm looking for something like this kind of fraction within this number. So because if this x is 11 to the power 13, then I have plus 1 in the end. I'll directly go to the 4th option because this looks right about correct to me. There will be confusion between 3rd and 4th one, okay, but you will see that actually if you have to divide it by x plus 1, okay, so it has to be some even powers of this 13. We'll come to that part later on, but just like if you want to expand that 11 to the power 52 minus 1, you can basically write it as 11 to the power 26, you square it, minus 1 square. Now this is a square minus b square, which can be simply written as a plus b and a minus b. Now again you can actually expand this term. So I'm writing it like in terms of very simple formulas which all of you will be aware of, that what is x square minus 1 square. Okay, I will expand that x to the power 26 minus 1. Okay, before doing that I will just write it 26 plus 1 and 11. Again I can write it as 13 squared minus 1 squared, which will be 11 to the power 26 plus 1, then 11 to the power of 13 minus 1 and 11 to the power of 13 plus 1, and you can see that I already see this factor in here. Okay, so this will be your correct answer, 11 to the power 52 plus 1. Now going to the next question. So in the next question what you are given is, there is a regular polygon of number of sides equal to 10. So you have 10 sides in this polygon. What is the internal angle? Okay, the options are 396 degrees, 324 degrees, 216 degrees and 144 degrees. Now this is not a very difficult question, it is a very easy question indeed. So the polygon with lowest number of sides is a triangle. You can see here. Okay, if I have just 2 sides, I cannot form a closed polygon with that. So in triangle, the sum of all the internal angles is equal to 180 degrees. So this summation theta I means sum of all the internal angles. Similarly, for a rectangle, it is 180 degree plus another 180 degree. Okay, so it becomes 360 degree. So thing is, what happens is, after 2, every side that you add adds up another 180 degree. So the general formula for sum of all internal angles, okay, so the general formula for sum of all internal angles for a polygon, so sum of all internal angles for a polygon of sides equals to n. The formula is very simple, it's equal to n minus 2, okay, because with 2 you cannot form any polygon, okay, and then you just need to multiply this with 180 degrees. So very simple. For example, here if you put n equals to 3, so this will be 3 minus 1 equals to 1 into 180 degree, and then this will be 4 minus 2, that is 2 into 180 degree, this will give you 360 degrees. Okay, so now what is given to us is that n is equal to 10. So I just need to substitute that value over there. Okay, and I have to find one angle. So a triangle will have 3 internal angles, a square will have 4 internal angles, or a quadrilateral will also have 4 internal angles. So the number of internal angles is equal to the number of internal sides. So I will put here n is equal to 10. Okay, and then after that what I'll get is, if n is equal to 10, so each internal angle, okay, if it is regular polygon, so what is given to you is regular polygon, means all the theta are equal. Okay, all the theta are equal. So summation of all these theta will simply be equal to n theta equals to, again, n minus 2 180 degree. N is given to you equals to 10. So theta will be equal to 8 into 180 degrees divided by 10. So 18 into 8 equals to 144 degrees. Correct answer is answer number 4. Okay, so now you have few more questions. Okay, so 2 more questions from this part which appeared. Okay, so we have solved these ones. So the 2 other questions which appeared. So the question again says, inside square, okay, the inside square is formed by joining the midpoints of larger square. What is the area of the smaller square? So this, you have a large square on the outside, and the internal square, the smaller square, is formed by joining the midpoints. Okay, the options that you have are 12.5. So this is in centimeter square. Option number 2 is 6.25. Option number 3 is 3.125 centimeter square, and option number 4 is 15.628 centimeter squared. Okay, so these are the options with you. Now solving this is actually not very difficult. The one mistake which students can do is they can keep on calculating area of each and every square. That is not something that you need to do. So you need to know a simple fact that this will be actually a geometric series. First of all, let's calculate what will be the side, because to calculate the area of a square you just need to know the side. So area is basically side into, so area is equal to side squared. Okay, so if this is 10, this is 5, and this is also 5. Okay, so from Pythagoras theorem, this side, because this angle is 90 degree, will be 5 root 2. Okay, so this side will be 5 root 2. Okay, so you can write it in this way, or another way you can write it is very simply, I can write these as 10 by 2, this was also 10 by 2, and from Pythagoras theorem this side will be 10 square root 2 by 2. Okay, so basically this becomes equal to 10 by root 2. Okay, now what is happening is you will keep on carrying this operation again and again. Okay, so now if this is 10, okay, what is the, this is again midpoint now. Okay, this is half of that 10. Okay, similarly other side of this, this is half of that 10, you have already calculated it, and this angle is 90 degree, and this is also half of 10 root 2 by 2. Okay, so this will be half of that value. Similarly you will calculate this internal angle. So you will do this process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, so you will do this, actually there is an, in the question there is even a smaller internal square here. Okay, so actual question looks something like this. Yes, so you have to calculate area of this square. Okay, so you will do it the same process. Okay, you will do once, twice, thrice, fourth time, and fifth time. 5 times you will do the same operation. So every time you will divide it by 2 because the side is midpoint. Okay, and then you will apply Pythagoras theorem, you will multiply it by 2. So divide by square, you will multiply with square root 2 when you apply Pythagoras theorem. So multiply with square root 2, divide by 2, you will get an answer of divide by square root 2 every time. So if you do this 5 times, okay, the side will be side of the shaded square is equal to 10 by square root of 2, okay. So it will be 10 by square root of 2 to the power, okay. So because you have done it 5 times, 5. So that is side. Then what is area of that shaded square? Equals to basically the side square. So we'll do 10 by root 2 to the power 5, and then square of this whole thing, which will become 100 divided by 2 to the power 5. That is 100 divided by 32. Okay, so 100 divided by 32. What will be the answer? It's simple. So I think you can calculate just even without calculating. You can, if you want, you can calculate it. It's not very difficult, okay, because you know, like 425, 4 8, 8. So you will get 3.125 centimeter squared. No need to calculate because you know 32 into 3, 3 3s are 9, so it will be close to 10. So it will give you a total value of 100. So this is how you will solve this particular question. Now there is the last question that we'll take a look at. So the last question goes something like this, okay. So you have, this is question number 8 in your exam. So you have a x is a continuous random variable okay. So this is a question from statistics, and x varies between a continuous random variable representing temperature range of x is given to you. It's 0 to 100, okay. And what else is given to you is the probability density function, PDF, okay. Probability density function fx equals to 0.01. It means probability is same for all the values in this range, okay. So this is for 0 is less than equal to x is less than equal to 100, okay. So this is the probability that you'll have. You have to calculate the mean. What is the mean of this probability function, okay. So the mean of this, mean of the continuous random variable. So solution, first of all, it's actually a very simple question for someone who has studied statistics, okay, because what you have in here is that you have x here, okay, and what is probability of x? So what is the probability of getting that particular value? And this is a probability density function. So it goes something like this in this case, okay. So it's 0 here, between 0 and 100 to get this kind of a curve, okay. So this point is 100, okay, and this is a what we call a uniform distribution, okay. So this is a uniform distribution. Why is it called uniform? Because probability is same between 0 to 100. The probability density function is not changing, okay. Other types of distribution which you have seen, I think, are, for example, the normal distribution. So in case of normal distribution, how will fx look? It will look something like this, a bell-shaped curve, okay. Maybe my figure is not very accurate, but you get sort of like get an idea. So here you have, it is valid for all the if this is standard normal distribution, it will be standard at 0 and it will have a standard deviation of 1. All right, so this is what we have in this case, okay. So someone who has studied uniform distribution, they would already know the answer without even calculating it. So uniform distribution is between two numbers a and b, okay. This is 100, and in case of a uniform distribution, the mean is always equal to A plus B divided by 2. In this case, it is 0 plus 100 divided by 2 equals to 50. Now, if you do not know this fact, you can still solve this question. If you know the fact that the mean mu is basically equal to expectation of that random variable x, which is basically equal to, what is that equal to? Integral of fx, okay, fx x dx. Okay, so it will vary from 0 to 100 in this case. So it will be integral of, what is fx here? Fx is given to you as a fixed value 0.01 x dx, 0 to 100. It is very easy to solve. Okay, so you will get 0.01 constant outside, then you will have x square upon 2, and the values are varying between 0 to 100. So you will get 0.01 into, so 100 into 100 divided by 2. Okay, so you can see 0.01 into 100 will give you 1. Okay, so then you will be remaining with 100 divided by 2, which will be equal to 50. Okay, so the same answer that you get. So to calculate mean, this is the formula that we use, but here, because this is uniform distribution, we don't need to go through this part. We know that in case of a uniform distribution, it will be equal to a plus b divided by 2. So the correct answer for this will be, mean will be equal to 50, because it is temperature, and if you are taking it in degrees Celsius, it will be 50 degree Celsius. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you again in another lecture.